James Kaufman, World News Report today. Today is August 27th, 2023, 1:30 p.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 tropical disturbances, including a tropical storm and a hurricane in the Pacific, Caribbean, and soon to be in the Gulf of Mexico. To start with, we have a tropical disturbance coming off the coast of Africa here. Currently, it only has a 20% chance of formation and is headed in generally a western direction. Now, the storm that came off before that one fizzled out here. We have Franklin that actually became a named storm and then a hurricane. We're going to take a look at the spaghetti models with that. And now we have tropical storm Idalia, which looks like it's headed into the Gulf of Mexico to perhaps become our first Gulf of Mexico hurricane, making landfall somewhere in Florida, perhaps the Florida Peninsula. And jumping over to our eastern Pacific, we see that we have Irwin, a tropical storm heading out to sea. And I will say that it appears to be headed close to, if not over, Hawaii. I know that they could use some rains there. All right, let's start with Tropical Storm Idalia. This is Fox Weather's enhanced satellite view. You can see there's a very large disturbance there off the Yucatan Peninsula and south of Cuba. Now, the rotation does not appear to be going in the right way. They're already classifying this as a tropical storm. I'd also like to point out a newly formed tropical disturbance here coming off the Mexican coast, also looking like it's headed into the Gulf of Mexico to strengthen. This one might surprise us all. This is the official National Weather Association's path for tropical storm, soon to be upon landfall, Hurricane Idalia. So it looks like they have it coming into more or less the Panama City beach area, Tallahassee, the capital of Florida, and then moving back out to sea into the Atlantic. We'll have to see what it does after that. Now this is Tuesday into Wednesday. It looks like a Wednesday landfall. Today is Sunday, so you have some time to prepare if you have not. There's a possibility that this storm could change direction and hit anywhere in the Gulf Coast, including Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and any part of Florida. Taking a look at Tropical Storm Idalia's spaghetti model. Remember, they think it's going to be a hurricane by the time it makes landfall. Every single model has it hitting near the Panhandle, Jacksonville, Florida, and then taking it back out into the Atlantic. So we'll keep our eyes on this one. We have Franklin also in play right to the right. We're about to take a look at that one. Let's hope they don't join up, or let's hope they do. Let's see. Now let me phrase that. Here we have Hurricane Franklin. It is headed towards America's East Coast, but I don't think that that is where it's going to end up. You can see Idalia right here, and we can see another system coming up behind this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is now a Category 1 hurricane. We'll get some information on that. Now, upon further review, it turns out that Hurricane Franklin is already a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds at over 100 miles per hour, central pressure 971 millibars, and dropping, suspected to become a Category 3 and 4 hurricane before it turns out to sea and misses the entire North American continent, including all of Canada. For a while there, we thought that might go into Nova Scotia, but it looks like it's going to stay out to sea. All right, jumping over to Hurricane Franklin's spaghetti models. I did wait to do this update until after 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, so that we could get the latest and greatest, which we have here. Again, these are the Hurricane Franklin spaghetti models, and you can see that a few of them still take it into parts of Canada, but for the most part, it's taken out to sea. We'll keep our eye on this one for our Canadian friends and brothers, and we'll let you know if anything changes here. That's going to be several days out. Now, what is allowing all of this? What's allowing all of this is we don't have any Sahara sand coming across the Atlantic, or the next batch is on its way, but we have a clear period covering all of the Caribbean, all the Gulf of Mexico, and all of the east coast of the United States, allowing these hurricanes to strengthen. As we saw, Franklin is expected to strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane within just the next 48 hours. We also don't have any disturbances in the Gulf. I did point out that new disturbance coming off the coast of Mexico that's also headed in an east-northeast direction and could very well join this larger disturbance down here. We'll just have to see how this plays out. Perhaps it could become its own storm based on how it looked. All right, heading over to windy.com to see what AI is going to do with all these systems. We have Franklin right here, Category 2 hurricane. We have a tropical storm right here, Idalia. And then we also have a storm over here that we looked at in the Pacific, Irwin. So I believe that Irwin's going to go out to sea, headed towards Hawaii. I'd also like to say that we have several fronts coming onshore up here into the Oregon area. Usually they would come ashore in Alaska, work their way down through Canada, and then hit Washington and Oregon. One thing about these fronts is they're spinning the wrong way. They're spinning like a low or like a hurricane, when highs should be spinning the opposite direction. So I would call this a subtropical low front, although I know they will be calling it a high front. Again, let's put these three storms, Irwin, Idalia, and Franklin, in motion here and see what AI does with them over the next couple of days. All right, going into this evening, Franklin looks like it's moving towards the north. We see Irwin look like, well, it's getting weaker as it moves towards Hawaii. And then we see that Idalia made that hole right between the peninsula and Cuba. Looks like it will be headed up Tuesday. It should start to impact with outer bands. It's like Florida, most of Florida. And by Wednesday, it makes landfall right there on the panhandle. So many storms hit that same exact area. Meanwhile, this has gone off screen towards Hawaii. Franklin's right here. They are very close. You can see this gets back into the Atlantic. I don't believe that these two will join, but you never know. They're not that far apart. And these both seem to move off to the actual due east. God bless you and yours, folks. If you are anywhere in the Gulf Coast, or if you have friends or family living in Gulf Coast cities, please give them a warning. In case they haven't heard that Idalia has become a tropical storm and is expected to become a hurricane and will be, most probably, the first hurricane to make landfall in the United States proper for the 2023 hurricane season. God bless, share, subscribe. Always remember that anything's possible in Bizarro World.